fucking Las Vegas, dude.
Yeah, I think a
It
trip
was good.
to do a live broadcast would be dope out there.
Dude, it would be tight. So it was my first time in Vegas, and it was really dirty. So I was like, oh, this is
Bro,
not
that was your
this
first
is
time
not.
ever?
Oh yeah, I've never been to Vegas, and
Yeah, I haven't been there in probably 3 years, but there was a bunch of like the streets are just littered with like business cards, all of which have naked women on them.
right.
Like old
I had
Vegas
to
is even
like.
worse because there's just homeless people everywhere.
So somebody was shot and killed not very far from me, and I actually heard the gunshots.
Oh
Um,
Jesus.
yeah, and I almost had to fight a homeless dude while I was walking somewhere. I was like walking between hotels near the strip, and I had to like cut through like I don't know, it was like abandoned field area to get up to the monorail. So I could get up and into this hotel like over the street. So it was fucking. I wasn't impressed. I'll put it like that. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's crazy. The last time I was there, they were pretty good about keeping homeless off like the main strip. Old Vegas, though, me and my brother went, and I think I told this story already, but I paid $20 to kick some guy as hard as I could in the nuts. And then 5 minutes later, I paid another $20 to take a picture with some babes. And I gotta say, uh, kicking that guy in the nuts was way more worth it because like I'll have that picture forever, but the feeling of like absolutely eradicating someone's testicles is something that'll never leave me. And I hope to be able to do it again someday, consensually, of course.
that's I didn't make it down to the old strip, which I wish I would have, but I was a little tight for time. I was because I was there doing wedding stuff, and then kind of just didn't have a whole lot to do. I went to In and Out Burger, and I'm like, this is it. This is what all you West Coasters talk about
Yeah,
all day, every
yeah,
day. This is it. It's sad,
hmm
and it
it's a
was
little
okay.
weak.
It was
Yeah.
okay, but it wasn't like I was expecting like this fucking. I was expecting like the deity of fast food or something. Like
hmm
when I was there, I'm like, oh, this is the shit. This is what everybody talks about. I'm like, are you kidding me?
You got the Gavin Newsom of fast food.
Yeah.
You know what
I
actually
wish I would
is
have.
pretty good though? And the reason it's so good is because it's expensive as fuck. That it's everywhere in all the airports and shit. Shake Shack. That
I
shit is like a solid $10 burger, but damn if it's not fucking worth it. They put everything together so clean.
I tried. I
Yeah,
tried
I
to
got a
go
lot though.
there.
Do miss Burger Time.
Burger
Dude, Burger
Time,
Time is
yeah,
so good.
Yeah.
yeah. Burger Time
Anytime
is
you
pretty
wrap
hot.
a burger in like a checkered like wax piece of paper, that shit's gonna slap no matter what.
Right? I tried to go to Fat Burger, but it was like inside a casino, and we just didn't have
hmm
time for all that. So I was like,
Now
ah,
that yeah,
fuck
now
it.
that we're on the topic of this, you know what else disappointed me, and really it was only because of the scene from Night at the Roxbury, but Del Taco was
Okay, I
fucking
thought you were gonna say
garbage.
cocaine.
No, no, that shit's awesome. Del Taco was garbage. That shit
Yeah, dude.
sucked. Like that sucked worse than White Castle did after I watched Harold and Kumar when I was like 16, and me and my friends drove an hour and a half to fucking Fargo to get or not Fargo to fucking Sioux City to get some White Castle.
Oh,
Holy
that's
shit.
depressing.
Yeah, that shit was awful. But Del Taco was even worse. Just because I came into it
You
with like not that high of expectation, I'm like, oh, it'll be like Taco Bell. It was way worse. So much worse.
You
you
know,
went into it
like
like lucrative expectations and were still let down. I mean, that's something to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, for sure. I would not purchase their goods again.
what trips me out too is like when I went to Vegas. It's my first time in Vegas, and there's a lot of food there. Like anything you want,
Yeah.
any kind of restaurant you
hmm
want. You know what I fucking saw like three of around Olive Garden. Like you motherfuckers want to eat Olive Garden? You
That's the
got you
tourist
got
thing though,
whatever you
right? Like
want. Like
fucking yeah, tourists fly to like Italy and they're like, "Ooh, it's so pretty. Let's go to Olive Garden." And like they should show up and it should be like a suicide booth from fucking
well, I
Futurama
just
again.
can't.
Like
I'm not even like shit talking Olive Garden. Just that like okay, there was like a buffet of anything you wanted, an array of any cuisine from anywhere on earth, uh, any kind of food you could ever imagine, and then there's Olive Gardens like everywhere.
yeah,
I was like, what the fuck?
I'm pretty sure was it Olive Garden? Yeah, here it is. Never ending pasta pass. Sold out.
Okay,
Wow. Okay.
that's kind
Yeah,
of that's kind of dope.
I heard about this a couple of years ago. They sold a credit card that just you could only use it at Olive Garden, but when you showed it to like the waiter, they just had to bring you as much food as you wanted. So like you
That's
paid like 100, no, like it was like $350 or something. And for the whole year, once a day, you could just go to Olive Garden, show the card, and it's like 007 showing his license to kill, except this is like a license to shit yourself off of fucking French bread and fucking like some Garfield lasagna. Yeah, sold
real.
out. Wow, that's insane.
I would
Yeah, people
definitely die
fucking
if I
love
had
Olive
that.
Garden, dude. I don't get it. I'm not a big fan of Italian food in the first place, but that shit, I had it a couple times. The bread is good, but that's like fucking about it.
Yeah, I mean, pasta's kind of hard to fuck up.
It's like
Mhm.
liver eye too.
Well, yeah, it's like peasant food,
Yeah,
right? It's like you just
yeah.
take all the shit rich people eat, put a bunch of sauce on it, and mix it all up.
Fucking
Like,
doesn't it?
yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it is. Pizza is the same shit. Like, instead of taking all the best ingredients and serving them individually and cooking them to perfection, you just throw that shit on top of all each other, throw it in the fucking oven. Can't really go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to fuck up tomato sauce and noodles.
Yeah, I saw a tweet. It was the funniest fucking thing. Like a couple months ago, like in the height of the pandemic, when people were like making all their own bread and shit, charcuterie boards got really popular for a while, and people started making like super high end charcuterie boards. They're like the things that you just put a bunch of shit on like a wooden board, right?
Right.
Uh, so like meat, cheese, sausages, fucking like a bunch of uncooked stuff, right? Crackers, dip,
Hmm.
etc. And some white woman quote
Of
tweeted
course.
quote tweeted one of these things that was like a really fancy looking one, and she's like, "This is what the 1% eats." And someone underneath just quote tweeted her, racial the fuck out of her, and just posted the
Lunchables.
like
Please tell me it's Lunchables.
the no, that they fucking posted like the direct translation of charcuterie, which I'm pretty sure in French literally means like peasant food. Like because that's legitimately like that's how it got famous was when you didn't have silverware like plates, peasants used to just put all the food on wooden cooking boards and eat off of that to avoid eating off of like tables and the ground and shit. They would just
That
have
makes
wooden
sense.
boards that they would wash and then cook on and cut shit on, and then they would wash it and serve the food on it. So
Uh,
yeah, it's fucking. I hate white women.
well, white women are in a particular. I have a particular disgust for Western white women, so I don't even know if I should go into it. Everything
I
about them,
mean,
everything about
the
them
dog is
disgusts
so
me.
far gone that I feel like it's just like on the one hand you're wasting your breath, but on the other hand, you gotta let bitches know, like you gotta
Right.
tell them, right?
I just feel it's they're got to be the saddest creatures on planet Earth
Okay.
because what do white females not have that they need? Does that I mean like what can they not do? What can they not achieve? What can they not have? What
Right.
power like what what is really standing in their way but themselves? This sounds terrible, but it's
A
true.
presidency.
And
Yeah.
they damn near could have that if they you know I mean I guess Kamala Harris is not really a white woman, huh?
No, she
She
is
was
not. That's a
president
very
for
important
a few
distinction to make.
hours,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Is Hillary even a white woman?
you know what? I'm gonna counter as one.
I,
She's definitely a ghoul.
yeah, I mean, well, I mean, she had all the hot sauce, so that's one thing. She said she keeps hot sauce in her purse.
Right. So
Uh,
that's kind of that's a little black.
yeah, well, I mean,
Bringing
she
your own
was
hot
like,
sauce.
she was
She's from the
legitimately
South,
asked,
though,
like, how do you plan
right?
to win the black vote? And her response was, I keep hot sauce in my purse. So that definitely didn't work.
Yeah.
But she, she's like 1/4 white woman, 1/4 ghoul, like you said, like a Fallout style, like irradiated fucking humanoid. I'm
Right.
thinking one part like Horcrux, like
Okay.
from Harry Potter,
Okay.
where maybe there's like a curse somewhere in there, like some voodoo magic, and then one part like a homunculus, like just a soulless being, like all the Clintons.
That yeah, it could be. I go for like reptilian in there, like part
Okay,
reptilian.
yeah,
Um,
the scale aspect.
I made the mistake of reading mainstream news and media today and publications, and I fucking read a Huffington Post article. That was my first giant mistake. Um, but like going through it, it was the entire article written by an American white woman was about one of her ex-boyfriends who she dated very briefly is now a famous movie star, and how she can't stop seeing him on TV and how that affects her and how that impacts her. So you got to understand is there's this very wealthy, successful person who I don't think even really probably thinks of her nor cares. No matter how nice or good of a guy is, he's moved on. They are broken up, but she's still like writing entire think pieces about how her life was affected by dating him for a brief period before he was famous and how his fame affects her. And it doesn't like set me off. Like I'm in control of myself. I'm not an animal. But like I do wish I could sometimes just start punching white women in the face. Like because I read this fucking this vapid nonsense about like in the article it's like she's wondering if she follows his Instagram, so she's wondering if he ever looked for hers, if he ever saw pictures of her family and how happy she is. Like what all that article signals to me is how she would instantly be disloyal to her entire family and life she has if this dude gave her one instance of attention.
Right.
Like if
You know
he
what's
even
really,
said hi to
like,
her, she'd melt.
you'd think that's crazy and that it's like like an isolated incident. Taylor Swift wrote 4 albums about her ex-boyfriends.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. I mean,
that's
I
yeah,
get
I
it.
mean that's definitely just a thing, right? Like
Right.
with the species that we're talking about, they lack the initiative to
Right.
do something actually useful or
Well,
creative. So
right.
in a leech like tactic, they try to just absorb and kind of latch on to whatever is like propelling them forward. I don't know. I see why people get mad about certain things, and then I see how white women get mad at certain things, and it's almost as if it's uh like a 2 fucking door scenario where I can go down the left hallway and get mad about something for literally any other reason, or I could go down the right hallway and make fun of white women for getting mad about that same thing. So it's so much easier for me to take that other route, and I don't think that makes me a bad person. It just makes them uh not even an easy target, just like a deserving target, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Right.
It's
I guess my my whole thing is they're like the biggest cast of activists and how do you want to say this? You look, they're like one of the largest demographics in the United States is white females who have
mhm.
the most spending power, and they are involved in maybe like the most hobbies and extracurricular activities and whatever. Like they everything they do when it's like a social cause feels performative because it's almost never about them, but they make it about themselves.
Right. Okay. That makes
Everything
sense.
from like Black Lives Matter to I guess I didn't really plan on doing this, so I didn't like crop up a bunch of examples, but they don't. There's not like a huge anti-white woman sentiment in the workplace or in, you know, in life in general. But for some reason, when there's a call for justice, there's always white women involved championing it.
I would argue that the only place that there is a targeted attack towards white women is on this podcast.
You're listening to My Dog Barks at White Women. Episode 12. We'd like to thank you for joining us.
Speaking of which, this is so good. I was just reminded of one of the funniest tweets I've legitimately ever seen in my life. Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, the football player,
Right.
fucking legendary, by the way, like legitimate top 5 athlete in his time, period. Like the dude's a monster. Also somehow gifted with the fucking just most enormous posting like potential on the internet. He tweeted a week ago, as of this recording, he tweeted, "I met a woman outside the mall crying. She said she lost $200. I gave her $40 out of the $200 that I found. When God blesses you, it's imperative that you bless others." Praying emoji. We're talking about a legitimate multi-million-dollar retired football superstar, man. It is so fucking funny. I love him so much. His Twitter page is a gem. It's so
that's
sick.
Hilarious. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man. Yeah, he's so fucking based.
I wish I was rich just so I could do things like that and have it be called funny and not misogyny.
Yeah, right? This is a totally just off-topic segue. Did you see the video of the people at the Macy's parade chanting "Boss Baby" at the giant inflatable Boss Baby as it was like being
I saw a clip on Instagram of that, but I had no idea what was going on.
So okay, so it's the Macy's Day Parade, right? They have all the floats and like all of the fucking the big ass balloons, and every year they do it, and it's cool. But I saw the caption, and I'm like, oh, they're like cheering for the Boss Baby. They're literally chanting "Boss Baby" over and over again on repeat. I'll just post the video in here really quick, just so you can get an idea of how fucking insane this is. But like,
I'll play it here real quick. You probably can hear it if I play it. Let's see if you can.
Yeah, try it.
I don't know if you can or not. Okay. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but
a little bit. Like I heard a little bit of it, but they're literally just chanting "Boss Baby, Boss," and I'm thinking to get a little like I guess deep about it. Boss Baby is a really interesting movie because I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically a thinly veiled like propaganda for trying to refuel like industrial age capitalism, okay? Because what it's about is it's about this kid who is like super happy, he's an only child, he's having all this fun, and then their parents announce, "Hey, we have another baby, like here's your little brother." And the little brother is the boss baby, and he's in a suit and he talks, but only he can understand him, right? And throughout the movie, they have a bunch of hijinks. They learn to get along. But the whole time, the whole thing about Boss Baby, voiced by Alec Baldwin, by the way, the shooter, one of my favorite shooters. And the whole thing about Boss Baby is that he just wants to make money and he wants to like run a business. And so he's always trying to find like the next scheme or like the next devious lick, as the kids say. So it's a really like them chanting that during the Macy's Day Parade on Black Friday, bro. There's like so many circles aligning there, right, of capitalism, that I feel like they were 1 second away from summoning like Molag Bal, and
I was
he was
just
about
gonna
to
say,
show up.
I was literally gonna say it sounded like a Moloch ritual.
Yeah, like fucking fountains of blood almost started erupting out of the fire hydrants and covering everyone as they kept cheering. But I love that video. That's probably one of my favorite videos now, is just a giant crowd of people just chanting "Boss Baby." And I saw some really fucking great like retweet images of people just putting "Boss Baby" and a bunch of stuff. But anyway, that's my little side thing there.
Yeah, like right now there's some shadowy cabal is sitting there twiddling their fingers in a dimly lit room with cigar smoke, like, yes, we just need to repeal these child labor laws. And they've been funding the Boss Baby films. And then this is their acolytes out on the street just chant because it sounds so dead too. Like it's
Yeah,
just
they're just like boss baby. Like
like
it's so yeah, really weird, but I love it.
all hail the return of the forbidden one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I mean like did anything else interesting happen in your excursion to
so
the City of the Dead?
no. It was fucking atrocious.
Really? Well, I mean that's
I
something.
it was there's a lot of good people watching there. And I started to really think like, okay, even if I was 10 years younger, you know, so I would have been like I would have been 20, you know, in my early 20s, super
Okay.
fit, lean. I don't think I would have partaken in any debauchery there.
Why is that?
Well, I'll just preface it by saying I was stone sober the entire trip. No, that's not true. I drank a little bit at one point, but like when I went out, I was like looking at all of the people there, and I just thought how fucking ugly everybody is. And I don't know a nicer way to say it, but I was just like, this is what Vegas looked like to me was like being back in the trailer park, but everybody had at least gotten like a budget for like one Forever 21 outfit or something to go out or whatever fucking people wear.
No, I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah.
It was really like I didn't encounter one person where I was like, wow, I would love to give up, like I would do anything to be with you. Like, no, this was fucking, I was like, ew, don't touch me. Like, ew,
Yeah.
what is this? Like, it was seriously like people who gamble like addictively like that, like they all are the same. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain unless like you've ever been in a casino. Well, now Vegas is the entire casino. It's the same thing. It's like the same
Sure,
crowd
yeah.
of people.
It's just a bunch of people that are like they like give off the aura that they have it made while they're
Right.
pressing a button on their last $100 trying to triple it, right? Like that's all they're doing.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean it is a very sad thing, I think, at its surface. But if you're able to like omnisciently transport yourself above them like I am, some of that shit is super funny. I don't know if I told you this story. When me and my brother went to Vegas with my cousin for his 21st, um, uh, we had this Uber driver that was, I think he was a Dominican guy. And he, oh yeah, so we had him twice because we went somewhere, we stopped, and we're like, all right, see you later, man. And he's like, all right, peace. And that first time he was like pretty cool. He's like, oh, it's your guys' first time in the city. Have fun, be safe. I would recommend going here, not going there, that type of thing. But later that night, we got another Uber and it's the same guy. We're like, oh, how funny. And I don't know what happened in that span of 3 to 4 hours that we didn't see him, but we got in the car and he's like real sweaty. And it's like May, so fair enough. It's hot as shit. Maybe he just had like the windows down, or maybe he was doing some work. Who knows? But he's like real sweaty, and he looks like just drugged out. Like I don't know what the fuck he was on, but he looks like he's been taking shit. And out of nowhere, he's like, "All right, well, it's nice to see you fellas again. You guys want to go to strip club? Many of you guys want to go to strip club?" And me and my brother are like, "No, we're chilling, man. Just take us back to the hotel. We'll grab some food and call it for the night." He goes, "You guys sure? There's a strip club right around the corner here. They have good rates. The girls, they'll do full on laid sex." And he kept saying that. He kept saying that specific statement, full on laid sex. And the way he said it, because he's like Dominican,
Laid.
was like he's trying to say like they'll fuck you, but he doesn't have the vocabulary, so he's just pulling together what he can out of his English repertoire. And he just kept saying, "Oh yeah, full on laid sex. These girls, they'll do full on laid sex." And me and my brother are looking back at each other. And my cousin's kind of like into it because he's been under the influence for a while now. It's his 21st, and he's like, "Tell me more." And we're like, "Nah, just go to the hotel, man." Literally 5 minutes later, we stop. It's not our fucking hotel. He gets out of the car. The Uber driver gets out of the car. My cousin goes to follow him, so me and my brother get out and follow him. And we're at the fucking strip club, and he's talking to the doorman, and he goes, "All right, check it out. $30 door fee. I got you guys 2 free drinks and a dance with any of the girls." And we're like, "No, dude, we're
Damn.
trying to fucking go to the hotel." So we argue with this guy for like 2 minutes, and finally he gives up, gets back in his car, and is dead silent the whole way back to the fucking hotel. Only thing you can hear is like whatever the fuck was on the radio. He's playing some like fucking pop fucking culture shit. I don't know. But it was so funny. Full on late sex is like something me and my cousin just say to each other now. Because it's
In and
like,
out, not the burger.
yeah, like legit, like that sort of thing. But like he wasn't trying to make a joke or it was just like those are
Right.
the words he knew, so he was just stringing them together best he could. It was so funny.
I wonder if he's working on commission for that club or something. If he brings in
Yeah, well,
people,
definitely.
and
I know
give 'em-
all the Uber drivers there. I have a friend that lives in Vegas, and he tells me all the Uber drivers, all the taxi people, they all have like massive connections with all the clubs and all the people. And if they bring you, they get a cut. If you bring friends, the friends get like, so on and so forth.
Right.
It's just a whole fucking.
It's all, or it's
That's
a
the one
fucking
thing I don't
setup.
like about Vegas is that you can never get away from the stench of commerce. No matter where
Right.
you go, it's always like a gig. And I fucking hate the gig economy. I think it's one of the worst things on the planet just because how pretentious it is. Like, dude, if you want me to
Yes.
do something for you, it's fucking like I'll do it, and then you send me a fucking, or I'll shoot you a uh what the fuck is it called? Not a bill, but like
An
I will shoot
invoice.
you. Yeah, I will send you an invoice. None of this fucking handshaking backdoor alley. Hey man, I can give you a cut of this or that. Nah, fuck out of here, dude. That shit's so fucking. It's so like. ah, it's like a Guy Ritchie movie, but everyone's smelly and ugly, like you said. It's just it's the
Right.
worst.
I do have one story. So I kind of blocked out huge chunks of it because it was kind of a blur. I didn't
Sure.
sleep very well and stuff. But I did have an Uber experience. But we were going to a friend's wedding, and it was outside of Vegas. I don't remember how long, like 20 or 30 minutes. And actually, a friend of mine who's female, which doesn't really matter, but does kind of matter for this story, is setting up a multi-stop Uber. And so she's going to get in the Uber, then come pick me up, and then go, then we're going to go to the wedding. I get in the car, and the dude's talking, and he's kind of okay. And so I'm sitting in the back with her, and then all of a sudden we go out to the interstate, and the dude starts doing like 95 miles an hour. Like just fucking weaving through traffic. And then he's like, "If you all see any smokies, you better tell me." And I'm like, "All right, man." Yeah, this dude was fucked up.
It.
And now
Okay.
he starts going off about like all the different kind of cop cars that are out there, what to look out for. And he's like, "If they pull me over, you tell them you were dying." And that's why we're like, and he's like, so like I had my dress shirt in my hand because I didn't want to wear it before I got there. So I rolled it up in case I had to choke him out with it. Like I was just going to throw it over behind his neck and choke him out. Because he was fucking off his rocker. And I don't remember what he starts talking about drugs, like just all kinds of shit about drugs and all the stuff he wants to do. And like, you can't tell where the jokes are and where this dude is really a fucking nut job.
Yes. Yeah.
And
that's
I was
really,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
that alone is a very good like indicator of how Vegas is when you
And then-
can't tell what's a joke and what's real.
well, and then so his shitty driving, I don't want to say like almost got us killed, but it was pretty rough. Could have. He starts going like, "And don't you leave me a 1-star review or you start leaving reviews. He was talking about drugs. He was going to kill us. We were running from cops. Don't put that in the Uber thing." I'm like, fuck. I'm going to have to kill this guy. I was like, God damn it. And so as soon as we made it to the venue, we got out, and then I was so glad she was not in that car alone with that guy.
Right, yeah.
Holy
I
fuck.
can only imagine, yeah.
So I was like, "You're not Ubering back or getting you a ride, somebody else." And that was my one bad Uber story. Everyone else was cool, but like and hating the gig economy, I fucking hate his Uber Eats. I was I needed to eat dinner in Vegas, and I ordered like a $12 meal, and for some reason my bill comes out to like $45.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this? They like charge. I give them a tip, and then I have to like do another automated tip, and then pay their delivery fee, and it's like, unless I'm spending $150 on food, this shit doesn't make any sense. I paid $40 for a $12 meal. I'm like,
I it's it's really weird from a driver's perspective too. Like when the pandemic first started, I did Uber for like a month just to make a little extra cash before I realized how fucking awful that is for just everything, like your fucking health of your car, gas,
Right.
etc. Um, and I have a whole nother thing I can launch into about how absurd it is to have Ubering as a full time job, but um, I I was just doing normal rides. I didn't sign up for like DoorDash or Uber Eats or anything because I didn't want to handle people's food. I'm like,
Right.
I just like I don't want to be responsible for someone's meal. So I was doing rides, doing rides. It's like a couple weeks, things are going okay, and I get a notification on my phone. I'm like waiting for a ride, and I'm near downtown, and I get a notification on my phone, and it's like 20 minutes away. There's a little place. Go here, and I assume it's a pickup for like a person. I'm like, okay. So I go to the place, and I'm waiting like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I finally text the thing, and there's no response. And I look at the name of the person I'm supposed to be picking up, and it's not a person. It like looked at a glance like a person, but ends up being a restaurant. So I'm like, oh, maybe he's
Oh.
in the restaurant. So I walk in, and I'm like, hey, Uber for anyone? And they're like, oh, you have the Uber Eats delivery? I'm like, no, the fuck I don't. And they're like, oh, are you sure? And I check the thing again, and it's the restaurant. I'm like, okay, I guess I do. So I grab the food, I get in the fucking car, I click the thing to say it's picked up, and then the guy that wants his food, I shit you not, is like 45 minutes away. And I'm like,
No
okay, whatever.
fucking way.
It's a
Oh.
ton of fucking food too. It's like enough for like 6 people. So I drive out into the fucking boonies. This is back in Cleveland. I drive out into the fucking boonies to like this dude's fucking white picket fence like farmhouse. And I drop the food off, and he's like, that took a while. And I'm like, bro, I came in all of that. Like, I don't want to talk to you for a fucking second. I will shit in all of
Yeah.
your fucking food. This is exactly why I never wanted to fucking do this. Like, driving people around is one thing because there's like a social contract. As soon as you get in my car, you have to
Right.
at least like, pretend like you're a normal person. But if I'm just delivering shit for you, now I'm like a servant. Like, I don't fuck
Right.
with that one fucking bit. So literally the day that happened, I Googled or I fucking called Uber. I'm like, is there a way to take myself out of the queue for this? And they're like, no. I'm like, all right, I'm not driving anymore. And I just
Yeah,
like
fuck
I
that.
just never drove for them again after that. It was such a fucking but like it wasn't even bad. I don't fuck with that at all.
You want to get out of that. I I had thought about doing Uber for a little while when I bought my car. So I was like, oh, it'll help pay for my car. And then I'm like, nah, fuck it. I just don't want to do
No,
it.
yeah,
I
it's
just don't.
just yeah, it's such a nightmare because like you pick up someone that's drunk, you got to make sure you have the fucking and like it's so gross. Like you go to any
Yeah.
gas station now and they have things that they sell to put in your car for people to throw up in. And I'm like, dude, it's 2021. I would
Right.
hope that we're civilized enough to where you could tell me like 30 seconds before I'm gonna throw up, hey man, can you pull over? Like I don't feel very good. Instead of me having to buy a fucking baby brown bag for you to fucking throw up in and then, oh, okay, no problem, I'll dispose of it. Fuck you, dude. I'm not your fucking caretaker. I'll crash this car right now and kill both of us. Watch me.
Speaking of throwing up, uh,
Okay.
I have the last 2 weeks I have been experimenting with drugs. So
Okay. Okay. Does this relate back to our gas station
it
pharmaceuticals
it
or
does.
okay?
So I just preface this by saying I don't have experience with a lot of the mainstream drugs that people do. I don't do them though. Like last time I had even tried marijuana was well over a decade ago, and it was like with high school friends out of an aluminum can or something.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
The
like you
classic.
do the classic pop can thing. I'm sure that's why I'm half retarded. Just
Yeah.
that one
Same.
time smoking aluminum. So I don't know exactly what possessed me to try it, but I was finally like, all right, I'll try this this Delta 8 shit first, and I'll just see what it does, because it's pretty plentiful. It's everywhere. Like, okay, I'll just try it. And I took a 30 milligram edible. I got to try to remember my timeline here. It was about 6 p.m. on a Friday night. I'm like, all right, I'll take this. And I sat there and I like played computer games. I was like watching it. Like first hour, absolutely nothing. I feel nothing. I'm like, whatever. Second hour kind of creeps in a little bit, and I'm getting this body high.
Okay.
And it's pretty intense. And it starts feeling really good. Like all sensations, all touch sensations in my body feel amazing. So like even sitting in the chair, my ass feels all tingly.
Yeah.
I'm like rubbing my fingertips. I'm like, oh, this shit feels good. I'm like playing computer games, and I'm like, oh, I'm like damn near orgasming doing keyboard mouse. I'm
Yeah, just scrolling the mouse wheel makes you feel like you're on cloud
I'm
nine.
like,
Yeah.
right. I'm like, oh, this is good. And then I felt like it was kind of wearing off. I was like a little over 2 hours in. So I made the rookie mistake. I took another one. So 60 milligrams deep. And so I know there's going to be somebody who's like, that's baby shit. That's nothing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't have any tolerance. I'm literally going from 0, like having never done it.
Okay.
The next few hours, I am becoming increasingly higher. The body high is very intense to the point my entire body feels like it's vibrating. And it feels like my eyeballs are vibrating, and I'm getting like motion sickness.
Okay.
It's now like 10:30 p.m. and I just want to go to sleep, because now what's happening is I'm starting to hallucinate, and I can tell. So I'm still in control, but like it's like pastel colored oil paint being dumped all over everything I'm seeing, and then there's like art being made in squares inside of it. So it's like I'm like seeing NFTs, right? I'm like tripping so hard there's NFTs in front of me. I'm like an NFT now. So like I have to keep like slapping my face like, God, dude, fucking wake up. And
non-fungible
like,
tesseracts.
Yeah. So I'm fucking every time if I close my eyes, I'm just seeing color. And every sound is amplified like all fuck. There's a fan, so I had a fan blowing, but instead of hearing a fan noise, I'm hearing like a sitar, like those guitar sounds. It's like boing, boing, boing. I'm like hearing that. I'm like, oh fuck, no, dude. I'm hearing
Arabian
music,
Nights, Prince of Persia. Type shit.
Yes, exactly. I'm like hearing music and like seeing color, and I'm like, no. This is like
you were on
fucking
Vegas
Lodo's
stage in Street
trip.
Fighter.
Yeah. Oh man, it was bad. It starts getting. It doesn't get better. So now I'm like 5-6 hours deep. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm trying to sleep because I'm like just trying to sleep it off and be normal. I'm seeing horrific shit. I mean, like I'm fucking tripping really hard, and everything I'm seeing is not good.
Right.
I'm like talking to people I know who are dead. I'm like, oh fuck, dude, this is not. But like, there's still like a little part of me. You ever read those stories where people take an edible and they call like the ambulances freaking out and they go to the ER? It happens all the time. Right. Or like all the white women who go to Colorado because it's legal and they try an edible and then they like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I had all of that feeling, but I've been in some shit before, so like I knew I could ride it out. I'm like, I can ride this out. But man, trying to like, I started getting. So somewhere in there, I'm hallucinating and I get super hungry. And I go into the kitchen and I open the rice cooker and just start shoveling hot rice down my throat. And then I grab a jar of pickles and I eat like half the fucking jar of pickles. So now I'm full, but my stomach is numb, so I don't feel it.
Oh,
I can't feel
I know what you're talking
anything
about.
in it. So like I don't feel anything. And then I want to go to sleep, but I can't. And now my eyeballs still feel like they're vibrating out of my head and I'm seeing color. So I'm like, am I having a fucking seizure? Oh fuck, I'm having a seizure. And I'm not, but I think I am. And all of a sudden I feel like I'm gonna puke. Like I'm just so nauseous. I'm gagging, so I'm like in the bathroom gagging, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. And I didn't know what to do, so I just went and like I sat. I remember looking at the clock at one point, and I remember it being like 12:59. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna sit on the couch for a while, right? And I sat straight up on the couch, and I was seeing these intense. I can't remember specifically everything I saw now. It was really fucking vivid and crazy at the time, and now it's all so distant. But I was seeing just like it was like watching 20 movies on fast forward at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing all this crazy shit, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been on this couch for hours. I go look at the clock. It's 1:09. So it'd been like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh fuck, make it stop. And I started having this like paranoia, like I think I shattered my brain. And I'm like, I will never be able to have a thought again. There was like so much noise in my head. I'm like, oh, I fucked up. So I eventually just like it's like almost 2:00 in the morning now. So this started at like 6 p.m. I go down and I like sit at my computer and I pull up YouTube and I'm like, I really want to listen to music. I was like, I think that'll help. And I end up hitting the YouTube homepage and they fucking snare me in with a Joe Rogan clip and they're talking about psychedelics.
Oh,
And then they start like,
got.
I got, and they start talking about like dying and from like this, like something in a trip and then you die. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no. So, so I'm pretty sure, I don't entirely remember, but I'm pretty sure I just turned on porn until I could ride it out. And then I'm like, this is not offensive. And then I remember even thinking at a certain point that it was gross. Yeah, it was like, it was centering me.
Yeah.
And then a little anal drilling got me back to center. And eventually I could feel like, I was coming back down to the point where like, I could close my eyes and kind of cancel out some of the noise. And I'm like, okay, I think I can sleep now. And I slept like till like almost noon the next day. I was like,
dude, I'm seeing stars. I laughed so hard. Fuck.
Holy
shit.
Yeah, that was not good. And I fucked up royally because I was like, oh, I feel pretty good. It's kind of dying out. Maybe I'll feel good if I do it again. So I made the same mistake again later in the week.
Okay.
So I took like 4 days. And I didn't do it again. I didn't have a strong desire to do it again, actually. But I just was like, what happens if I don't do it like a fucking retard? Mm-hmm. So I cut one in half and took like a 15 milligram and I waited like 3 hours and I felt nothing. So I took another one to do like a full 30 and I didn't feel anything. I spread it out too far and it was too low. So I was like, okay, whatever. So 2 days after that, I decided to try the legitimate THC ones, so not the Delta 8.
Like a Delta 10 or whatever?
Yeah, so this was the Delta 9. Okay. And I took a 10 milligram. And that, I took it actually, and then I went to work out. And it kind of came on while I was working out, and I just felt kind of like, I don't know, it just was like, I felt right. You know, I felt good, hit, but like I wasn't out of
rolling,
it.
Yeah.
I was just a little like, I was like dancing to the music while I had in the gym and I was like singing along. I was like getting a sick pump. I'm like, yeah, this is dope. And I went on that for a few hours, like 3 hours. So, and I went to like Walmart and that kind of like killed it. And I got home and I'm like, it's kind of done. And I was like, so I don't know how these work. If I take another 10, do I feel it? Does it hit hard? Or is it a waste of time? Is it my body not really going to do it? So I'm like, let's try. Fuck, dude. I don't know what was happening because I felt like I was coming down and then I took that other 10. And then as soon as that kicked in a little bit later, it was like, I was like way out of it. I laid down on the couch and it felt like I was sinking infinitely into myself, and like I was falling in the couch.
Yeah.
And then I really needed to get up to pee, but there was a rug on the floor and I didn't know if I could step over it. And
Yeah.
I fucking hate that feeling, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I knew, like, there was inside of me, I'm like, that's so dumb, dude. You can definitely step over it. But like there was this overwhelming voice like, no, you can't, dude.
Yeah. No, you should not step on that. Yeah.
You better not leave this couch with safety and warmth provided to you. Do not step out of the Garden of Eden. But I kind of like it was still pretty good, but like I don't know, I don't have this desire to do it anymore. All right, like like
Okay.
I tried it to try it, and then I like it was all right, but I don't know if it's because it's edible, like edible versus smoked or something. But man, that initial high was a total psychedelic trip. It was not
Yeah.
like a fucking dude. I was seeing shit, and I like
Yeah.
not to like toot my own horn, but if I was like a lesser being, more afraid of my own mortality, I probably would have went to the hospital. I got like feverish. I got super chills, but I was pouring sweat. I don't know if it's because I was sick, like the motion sickness or what, but I mean, I felt like it felt like death at a certain point. But I don't know, there was just something in me like, you'll get over it. I mean, it'll either kill you or it won't, so just keep going.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I do
but
need to remind you that this is not about whether you feel like doing it. This is for the wealth and the well-being of this podcast. So I am going to
well,
need you
right,
to try this again.
I probably will,
Uh,
because my main motivation for doing it was like I'll have something to talk about at least
sure.
on the podcast. So that was
It's a
like it
very,
was an
very good
experience.
motivation.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I do anything these days. And there is something that I really didn't like. Actually, the last time I did it, my tongue went numb. Like,
Okay.
and I couldn't find a lot about it. I thought it would be an allergic thing, but I searched, and apparently it does happen to people frequently. But I couldn't find any like medical thing. I'm like, that was the only thing that worried me, because I was like trying to clean food out of my teeth with my tongue, but I
Yeah.
couldn't feel my tongue. So I pushed it so hard into my teeth that I cut it, and it started
Oh,
bleeding.
okay. Okay.
And I was eating a really hot corn dog that I got the desire to make too. I was like, I air fried a corn dog, which I don't usually eat, but I was like, that sounds good as fuck. And it was
This really
heaven.
just sounds like super weed. Like it just sounds like like
So-
it sounds like you smoked like a giga joint, basically. Like that's
So-
what edibles kind of are, right? Like 'cause
yeah,
it hits
so
you right in the stomach.
there's a different mechanism of action when
Yeah.
you take it orally. The way your body, it's actually like, it's THC, but the way it gets cleaved and sent into the blood versus the way it does being smoked, I guess it has an entirely different mechanism of action in the brain.
Yeah.
So
That
like,
makes sense.
no matter how much you smoke, I don't think it's ever really psychedelic, like truly. But if you take too much edibles, it is.
Yeah.
But I can't. There is evidence for it, but I don't know a whole lot. I just was winging it. I'm like, fuck it. I was like, how much of this shit should I take? And like, it was like, you should start with 5 milligrams. I'm like, well, I'm not a pussy. Start with 30.
Right.
And then
Let's go ahead and triple that. Yeah.
yeah, and then I doubled it, and then I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. But it also, what did impress me was like how hard that did hit off the 2 little doses I took. Cause like I bought like a pack that had like 20 or 30 of those in it for like $20.
Yeah. Yeah. You could definitely just be dead right now. And
So it
that's
was
super
definitely
tight.
like, well, I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, it was legit. Like, it's legit. I expected it to be underdosed. I expected it to be like, oh, you gotta, if it was real shit, you would take 2, but because it's from the streets, you gotta take 20. But
Right.
no, it was legit as fuck.
Have I talked about the time I took an edible on this podcast before? It
No,
was when I
I
was
don't think
working
you
at
did.
DFC. No? Yeah, let me regale you. So
yeah.
I've only ever done it.
I don't think so.
Okay. I've only ever done it once. A bunch of my coworkers at DFC wanted to play D&D. and I'm a dungeon master. And so I was like, I'll throw together like a one shot for you guys, see if you like it. And so I had them all over at my house one night, and my one buddy, he brought over some THC cookies, right? Which are basically edibles. It's like the same shit. So, well, it's not the same shit. I mean, like you're taking it orally as opposed to smoking, right? So, um, I I eat one, and we're going through the session. We're just making characters and stuff. I'm showing him how to play. Like half an hour passes, and me and my friend, like he's not an avid smoker or partaker of this stuff either. And so he's like, "Fuck, I don't feel anything." I'm like, "Me neither." And our other friend is like, "I've heard it takes a while to kick in." And me and my other guy just look back at each other. We're like, "All right, whatever." We eat another one, right? So we go through the whole session and I feel fine. Like towards the end, I start feeling a little like lightheaded, which I guess is the body high kind of coming in. Like everything just feels a little bit like there's a little bit more spring in my step, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And we wrap up the session. Everything's cool. It's fun, and they leave. And I think this happened years ago, but this must have been like around 10 o'clock is when they all dipped. And it was a work night. It was like a Tuesday or a Thursday night or something. So I had work the next morning. And as soon as they left, I go pet my cat. I take a shower, which felt really good. I remember the shower felt really, really good. And I get out of the shower, I get dressed, I walk downstairs, and I sit down on my computer. And I don't really feel anything. I don't really feel anything. I'm playing games, doing whatever. Maybe like another 2 hours goes by. It's like midnight, and I'm getting ready for bed. I step up out of my chair, and I'm not kidding you. I felt like I was either like I felt like I was at the precipice of like a huge cliff, right? I was like staring out into like not anything scary, but just like I felt like I was really high up on something, and if I took a step forward, I would fall. So kind of like what you're talking about with the rug, that's kind of what I felt. And I'm looking around and I'm like, "Oh, it's hitting." Like I was scared for a second, and then I remembered, "Oh yeah, I ate two edible cookies and now it's hitting." So I got excited. I'm like, "Oh, okay, this feels pretty cool." And I kind of came to terms with it really quickly. And I go to bed and I'm feeling really good. Like I'm fucking laying in bed. The sheets feel like silk. Everything around me just feels super warm. My cat is like purring near me, and I hear the purrs like 100 times over. It's like oscillating in my whole body, just vibrations. And I'm like, this is tight. I fall asleep. I wake up, and I wake up super high. This is like 7, 8 hours later. And this is where I start getting really worried because I didn't know how long this shit lasted. I wake up and I stand up, and I'm not kidding. I couldn't make it out of the room without feeling like I was gonna fall over. Like that's how
Oh.
fucking my body was so floaty. And I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get to fucking work. And I didn't want to call off because like I was so fucked in the head that I'm like, the only way I could call off is if I told my boss I was too high to go to work. That's the only excuse I could think of. Like that's how fucked and that's how stupid I felt just like in that moment. So I'm like, well, I can't tell my boss I'm high, so I have to go to work. So I go to work, and the whole time I'm white knuckle on the steering wheel driving. And it's like I'm going like 5 under. I'm looking around every 5 seconds behind me. I make it to work. I take the elevator, and I swear, if you've never had a body high on an elevator, you have not experienced all five dimensions that are available to you. Because I legitimately felt like I was Dante in the Divine Comedy, lowering myself into the sixth circle of hell, dude. And I get out of the elevator, and at the end of the hallway, I see my coworker who also took two edibles, and we make eye contact with each other, and we both just start smiling like super fucking wide, and I can tell he's feeling the exact same thing. So I call him over to my office, and he steps into my office. I close the door, and it's a glass office, so you can see inside. I shutter all the fucking windows, and I'm like, are you fucked up right now? And he goes, yeah, I'm super fucked up right now. And we just start giggling. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how I was going to make it to work. And he goes, same, dude. And legitimately for the rest of the day, up until after I had lunch, like maybe 1 or 2 p.m., I was fucking flying. I could not focus on anything work-wise. It was so awesome. So my experience was mostly positive, but I think it's one, because I had like a companion, and two, I was at home and like just chilled out for the majority of it. And it was just THC cookies. It wasn't any of the shit in the Delta. I don't know any about that stuff, so I don't know what's in there. nothing psychedelic for me. It
Mm.
was just like it was very much just like a crazy, uncontrollable experience. Which, as far as my like vices go, I'm not really into alcohol or weed or any of that stuff. Mostly because I don't like feeling the loss of control that comes with it. But I
That's what I
love like,
hate.
yeah, I'll take a Schnortsky any day of the week. Like if I know it's from good people, I'll ski with the best of them because that shit just heightens everything, right? And
Right.
I don't do it too frequently, but when you do it and it's like with good people and you're having a good time, hard to beat. But
I'm
yeah,
a
that's
I'm
my
a fan.
experience with edibles.
I'm genuinely a fan of stimulants. The only thing is the
Yeah,
come down
dude,
is
I'm
usually
taking
pretty
it right now.
harsh. Yeah,
I'm
like
just fucking slamming this nicotine right now. It's fucking great.
dude, caffeine. I probably should just start taking nicotine, but I don't want to. I don't need another
No, definitely
addiction.
don't. But you should.
Any gray market amphetamine, put it in my pre-workout. I don't give a fuck. I got
Yeah,
like
so
I have
that's what
one.
all this shit is, right?
So I've got one from this company where like there's a it's like has European asthma medication in it that is not scheduled in the US. It was never submitted for patent here, but it was in Europe. So you can sell it here as a supplement, like a dietary aid, but you can't. It's like, but you mix it with caffeine and it's like a stimulant. They put it in a pre-workout. I don't
Okay.
probably shouldn't ever take it, but you know, like when you do, fucking damn, right? It rips. So
Yeah.
I'm all for those. Like, who cares if my heart explodes? But yeah, like I don't like alcohol, or I didn't particularly like this either. Where I don't like the loss of control in motor functions. As
Yes,
in
that's just
like
frustrating to me. And it like I get
like
paranoid really easily because usually when you're doing that stuff, you're not at home, you're not surrounded by like,
right,
people you trust or like would trust with your life, I should say. And that's very hard to get to that level with me. So I'm always feeling like I'm at like a disadvantage. I have like a gladiator's mindset.
right.
Like
I'm
what if a
always
battle to the life or death fucking broke out right now?
well.
What would I
That's
do?
that's instantly where my mind was going. Like, okay, if somebody broke into my house right now, I can't take care of everyone in here.
Yeah,
And like,
exactly.
and then it even got to the point where it's like, shit, if my dog needs to go out, I don't even think I can get up. Oh
Yeah,
fuck. What am I gonna do?
yeah.
She's gonna have to pee on the carpet because like I'm
Hmm.
not getting up. I can't even
Exactly.
move my hand. My hand is stuck in Moloch's mouth right now. Um, so like I just and the only just the first one was really psychedelic, but everything else after that wasn't. I think I just had no THC tolerance and I OD'd pretty
Yeah.
heavy. I was Googling around and I took what they refer to as a heavy dose. So I
Okay.
was like, oh, okay. Well, that's good for someone with no tolerance.
As
Um,
advertised, I guess. Yeah.
you're right. So I, I just that loss of motor function is not my forte. I don't like not being able to do something.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree 100%.
but I mean,
Um,
I could see why people like it, but man, I just I can't imagine. I don't like getting. I could see like okay, if I took a 10 milligram and I just felt good for like 2 or 3 hours of like regular THC, that's pretty cool. That was all right. But like anything over that, I started like losing motor function. I stopped being able to hold a conversation. I would do this weird shit where like I started feeling I had tunnel vision. So I was like I couldn't see peripheral things. I could only see what I was directly looking at. So I would move my head like a lizard. You know what I mean? Like I'd move my whole head to like look at shit. So I don't like that. I don't like that feeling.
right. Um, well, if you're interested, I do have another round of Young Money or I'm Funny lined up, and I know we're missing
I
our beloved JR, so I feel remiss to move on without
just
him. But
I
if
see
Mr. Minded is
he's
with us here, Aquarius, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
yeah.
Okay. Are you interested in playing a round of Young Money or I'm Funny? I'll take that as a yes. All right. So, I don't know if you played this game before, just in case for the audience out there, maybe first time listening. The rules are as follows. I have for you 4 sets of Lil Wayne lyrics, 3 lyrics or 3 bars in each set. and two of the examples are real, genuine Lil Wayne lyrics. One of them is of my own invention. Your job is to guess which one was created by me. Simple enough. The first
Yes.
one. Okay, the first one. And this is just a very short bar, okay? Pull up to the house in something you can't pronounce. Okay? Number 2.
Okay.
Versatile as fuck. I switch it up like Dennis Rodman Dome. Number 3. Number 3. Need a nigga robbed, dead, and disposed. That's Mike Rowe.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm gonna say
Number
3
two
is
got
you.
Okay, you think Dennis Rodman Dome is me? Slick, what about you?
I'm gonna go with 3 is you.
Oh, you're too good. All right, number 3 is indeed me. Dirty
I was
Jobs,
gonna
like the
say-
reference.
I was gonna say 2 until the Dirty Jobs reference. I was like, I
Yeah,
think that's
I love me some Dirty Jobs. Yeah, okay.
okay.
All right. Next set. These are a little longer. Number 1. All about my cheese. Cheddar, mozzarella, provolone. Fuck her for an hour long. Let her take a shower. Gone. Number 2. My pocket's on blubber. The socket unplugger. Bop, 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 bop. He not gonna recover. Number 3. You got on the truck fit. Yeah, but it dripped though. Tunchi got money, but you won't find it. Crypto.
I gotta go with 3 is you.
Yeah, 3.
Fuck. All right. Yeah, 3 is me. Okay. All right.
This is fucking
Set number
lyrics.
3. Set number 3. Good luck. Number 1. Fart so loud it went double platinum. Number 2. Young money baby, big shit like a horse ass.
Oh my god, so only one of these is you.
Number 3. Dear Mr. Toilet, I'm the shit.
Okay, I think I've heard 3. I think that's a Wayne lyric.
Number
I think
1
I've
got
heard
me. I think
that.
1 is you, I think.
You
Yeah,
think
I'm
fart
gonna
so
go.
loud it went double platinum as me?
I'm gonna go with number. What was the second one? Could you repeat this second lyric?
young money baby, big shit like a horse ass.
I'm gonna go with number 1 is you.
Fuck! Damn it. All right. I can't believe you guys heard Mr. Dear Mr. Toilet, I'm the shit. Bro,
I
when I
actually
read
heard
that
that.
bar, I didn't believe it. I legitimately had to find the song, and yeah, fucking by God as my witness, he says, Dear Mr. Toilet, I'm the shit, and then just keeps going like nothing happened.
Right, I've actually heard that song. Whichever one that is, I know
Okay.
I've heard it. So I
Yeah,
was like,
it's-
okay, I knew that one.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
one of the
the
more
biggest-
popular ones.
I'm not the biggest Wayne connoisseur, but I was down with some of that shit, and I had the
Yeah.
old Hot Boys mixtapes and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I know a few.
I think I have
But yeah.
one more in me as far as sessions of this after this week, but I am starting to run low on the Wayne lyrics. So
there's
if any
probably
guests
only
out
so
there
much.
want to shoot me some. Yeah, I mean, he's got a huge discography. I'm like looking through songs and I can't find anything that works for the show necessarily.
Right.
But with that said, final set. People always talk, Wayne don't have bars. He has bars here, folks. I have a 4-liner for each of you, okay? Extended barrel, the one with the holes. Don't fuck with me, I am not one of your bros. Quadruple my money, don't count what I grow. It's got to be the trucker, but I hop in a Rolls. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight, a pen to a test. I bring the night to his sunlight and zen to her stress. I bring the gun to a fist fight, the dick to her breast. She want to come on her tongue like it's mint to her breath.
Oh.
Yeah, bars. And number 3.
Bars.
Number 3. Drop bombs, chop her down, militarize Apache. Sling rocks, hunt 'em down, skin 'em alive Apache. White bitch, dick her down, muff dive, it's scratchy. Young money, run it down, franchise, it's swanky.
I'm
Let's
gonna
do
go with 2 is you.
2 is me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I beat him. I got him once. Number 3 is me. Nicely done, though. 3 out of 4 for both of you. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, that was a good juke on that one. I would have swore if you made me bet on which one was a Wayne lyric, I probably would have bet on the third one.
You think
I would have
so?
lost
Okay.
hard. Yeah,
I had to channel my inner tune sheet for that one for sure.
You got me with the swerve on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for this week's segment of Young Money or I'm Funny.
Dude, that's just reading those lyrics is fucking ridiculous to me. I love
dude,
it.
I've legitimately had to like put on my best fucking like fucking Daniel Day-Lewis poker face to not laugh out loud. Like, how am I supposed to say Young Money big shit like a horse ass?
Right.
Like with a straight face? That's so hard.
I think I'm gonna try. I can't promise, but I'm gonna try to find some lyrics and like I'll read something and I'll say like, is this a lyric or a misogynistic Twitter post? And you won't know until like, because when you
That sounds
read
like a good
lyrics,
game.
it's entirely different.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
hilarious.
I wish I could say more has happened in the last 2 weeks or so since we've recorded. We took a short sojourn from the podcast, but man, ain't shit happening. Oh, actually, one cool thing. I went to work, right? And I work from home 2 weeks, and then I go to the office 1 week. And so last week was my week in the office. So I went into the office, and Monday morning I get there, and I work second shift. I work like 11, and my office building is like not super big. It's like 3 stories, uh, but there is an industrial complex type of like how would I say, like there's a bunch of like warehouses and stuff like less than a block from us. They're like 1 or 2 stores down from us. There's a bunch of like industrial warehouses and like factory type beats and stuff, right? And they have all these dumpsters um for all the scrap metal and all the shit that they throw away. They have like probably like 30 or 40 dumpsters lined up against one giant brick wall.
Okay.
And I got to work and there's smoke like fucking emanating. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe my office is on fire. That'd be tight. And it's not that, but I get to work. And in that industrial complex, there is 3 fire trucks and a bunch of firefighters trying to put out. I guess someone, it was on the news. Someone put, like, someone set all of those dumpsters on fire. And I don't know how they did it because they're all metal, but I guess they just threw flammable shit in there and lit fires inside all the dumpsters. But yo, I'm not kidding when I say there is like 30 or 40 dumpsters lined up. So for that person to be that dedicated to bring like 30 to 40 things to light on fire and throw in a dumpster is fucking crazy because these things were legit like flaming. And the fucking building manager showed up and she's like, yeah, you guys can just go home. I don't think it's going to be safe to work here with the fumes and everything. And I'm like, you don't have to say me like say anything again. I'll fucking dip right now. And I'm driving home and I'm just listening to like music or whatever. And I stopped to get food somewhere and I just checked Twitter on my phone and I have like the news stations in my city. I like follow them and I see a post and I see myself in the B-roll footage of someone that's live on the scene. I see me outside walking to my car, and I did the thing from uh the fucking like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's pointing at the TV. Like I did that in my car, pointing at my phone. I'm like, oh shit, that's me. And I looked around and no one saw it. I was like, okay. But yeah, that was kind of funny. I was on TV for like a split second.
That's pretty awesome. And then
And now I can say that I was on television in regards to arson. So that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
that's a beautiful thing. Did they ever catch who did it? Because I do have a
No,
strong suspicion.
I don't think they did. No.
I heard that Michelle Obama was possibly touring the area. Something about a library
Oh,
opening.
okay.
And
Yeah,
just I thought that was a coincidence. Books are pretty flammable, right?
they
So
are. Yeah, we'll have to pick up on that because I know some stuff that might tie into that, but we'll have to save that for next week. I think. Save that for next week. I think. Save that for next week. I think. Save that for next.